Hey, it's one of them Yamato 1/68 scale perfect transformation VF-1 Valkyries. Well, this is technically the VT1, but whatever. They're all basically the same. So there have been, it's been a good run for this toy. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more reissues or what have you, but there has been a bit of a hiccup with these toys. And I would first like to thank Ted Jerk himself, Sanjeev, for helping me bring this idea to fruition. Now, the problem with these toys is that some of them suffered from the dreaded knurled pins. Oh god, it's gonna rape your sister. So, this is the shoulder hinge that the whole thing pivots on, and because the way Yamato had designed this with a little knurling at the end, just basically little ridges, to keep this pin locked in, it kind of stressed this joint and it made it prone to breaking. Now, honestly, this thing still, works, but the idea is we want this to be more durable and less broken. I do not begrudge them for designing it like this, because it's very easy, simple. I get the idea. I believe in later ones they actually replaced this with a standard smooth pin. I mean, because the basic idea is if you're pumping out like a couple thousand of these things out of ABS plastic, you want to shave off as much plastic as you can, which is why you have this. This isn't like a full hinge that goes all the way through, it's all like hollow in there. So what he was able to do for me is design, using a website called Shapeways, replacements, and we are actually changed it up a little bit so that the new hinge is actually more durable, and it's made out of a material called polyamide, which he assures me is actually very strong. And I have tested this thing a lot. I'm going to show you it on video, but the new hinge that we put into this toy, and there's also an old hinge in there, works beautifully. I am very happy because this is our first prototype, and I want to make this for sale to all the people who own this toy, because I think that I genuinely believe this is a great toy, that all of these are just great. This is the definitive VF-1 toy, and I want people to enjoy it again without any of the fear of it breaking. Or if you just want some peace of mind, this probably won't cost more than $20. I'm just going to spitball a little bit. Just like $20 for like 2 of these things. So I don't know if we're going to include the little pin yet. I mean, it's pretty easy to get. It's just a tiny 1.5 millimeter diameter steel pin. I mean, you can probably pick that up at a hardware store, or you could just try to use the pin from these things. And knurls or not, you could probably still use them. Okay, so I'm babbling enough for like 3 minutes. I'm going to show you, as we listen to my dogs go clickety-clack with their toenails, I'm going to show you how we managed to do this. So you can't quite tell just by looking at this because it's a little dark in there, but the new hinge, which is on this arm, you can kind of see it in there. It's a slightly different color plastic. I was a little worried that it might not fit in there, but it does, even with the beefed up hinge, and I will show you what we did, or what he did, to change it. I'm going to do the fun parts, the things I love about this toy. I'm going to do that. Okay. Alright. So this was always the crux of the issue, is that, and you can see here's the new hinge. I put it on the VT1 because the different color plastic makes it easier to see the new part. So, what we do is we always just pull this up, get it off those little things there. And, yeah, so. Right now I think we can only make this in the strong white plastic that they offer, which apparently everyone else calls the polyamide. So okay, so I got it here. I'm not going to go into gearwalk mode just yet, but here is the new part. Okay, so here's the whole deal. You can see that hinge is much thicker, but it still fits. It still fits fine inside here for fighter mode, and of course it also goes up and over the little locking ridge right there. There's the little ridges you're supposed to bring the thing over, which actually caused a lot of these things to break, because you would pull like the regular one up and over and get kind of caught there, because that's how it locks, and then it would kind of break off part of the hinge. So this is the new part. This is it's kind of a rough plastic, but it's a little chalky. But again, I've heard it's very strong. It is basically designed exactly like this, to the same specifications, because this whole toy was designed in CAD, computer aided design, so everything is pretty precise anyways. And yeah, so this totally works actually better than the original hinge, and it's not terribly expensive to make either. And for the most part, it's actually really easy, and I'll probably get into how you were to change one of these out. Basically, you just take your little Phillips screwdriver, and there's a screw here, and there's a screw here, and also one under there, obviously. And that's all you need to do to actually get to these things. And then you just remove, there's a screw on top of the cap that goes on. I'll do another video to show you how to change these out, but again, this is kind of just how it's going to look with the existing toy. Oh, obviously you noticed that I did remove the wings, because they have nothing to do with the transformation. So yeah, this is just to make it easier for me to test this out and transform it a ton. So yeah, you can see this is a ball joint, still works pretty good. You can just kind of wiggle it around, do whatever. You know, I've transformed this thing a lot, which is really the most stressful thing you can do to it. And I've seen no signs of breaking. Now, I guess the one problem that might be is that, you know, this hinge is white, and it's not going to match every Valkyrie that Yamato has made. Although, again, most of them are white. Most of them are definitely white in this part. Really, the only one that isn't is the VE-1. Yeah, it's really just the VE-1, because I think most of the other ones just have white. Or if they don't have white, it's basically in an area that you don't notice, because it's just hidden. Because in fighter mode, it's all hidden in OA anyway. In Gerwalk mode, you just kind of don't notice it, because you're focused more on the shoulder area right here. So yeah, because there was some worrying that, you know, well, how stiff is this going to be? It's like, well, in Gerwalk mode, it's fine, because it just rests on here, but you can see that it totally does stay out by itself. So yeah, so that works pretty well. Okay, and just to go straight on into battery mode, I did actually also remove the canopy cover, which is very easy to take off. This is just to make it easier to just constantly transform this thing, to make sure that this new part actually does work. So yeah. It's kind of funny that people always complain. It's like, well, these new Valkyries are so complicated. It's like, this is really a very simple toy. I've taken a lot of it apart. It's pretty easy to disassemble as far as like the major assemblies go. So yeah, here we are again, and make sure that's all clipped into place. So here's the new hinge, and there's the old hinge. Now, the only thing that we really had, we were discussing, and again, this is the prototype, this will be changed to make sure it works better, but just if it's really too easy to like make this, you know, slide back down like this. But again, you know, it stays. I mean, watch, I will show you how well this thing actually stays. We're going to pose it all the way out here. This is really the most stress that you can put on this toy here. Let me cheapy Dynex stand and show you here. Okay, so this is probably the most stress that you can put on the toy, or it is the most stress you can possibly do with normal posing and handling. Okay, full arm extension with the gun pod with the fixed posed hand. So okay, that's not really going anywhere, you know. Whack the toy, ain't going anywhere. I mean, if you push it down it will, but for the most part it will stay. And a nice thing about this new hinge is that it's actually a little bit longer because of the thicker main cylinder on the hinge there. So there's a little extra bit, as this exists on the original toy obviously, is that part of the die-cast inner chest plate sticks out, and this actually will fit over that, so that it kind of locks it, or at least rests on it, so that when you rotate it, it won't go anywhere. If you push it down, it's braced against that part. So the new hinge is a little bit better, actually. It's also a lot easier to transform just because it's thicker. Again, don't begrudge Yamato for doing what they did, because it worked on paper, and I always say this, we all know the risks of buying import toys. Okay, so the most you will probably be stressing this toy as far as, outside transforming it, which again, I showed you, this is totally works. Transformed it like 30 times as soon as I put this thing in, so I think most people aren't going to transform it that much, but I love transforming these things. So I'm going to put on the armor parts, which adds some weight to the arm. Okay, so you can see it doesn't even make it do that. You can do that and it's still fine. Yeah, okay, so that it can make it kind of go down, but we're working on it to make this thing work just a little bit better with the nub. It's just, it makes the extra hinge makes it a little bit too thick for the nub to hold it up. Of course, you could probably just put, or say this is more like a ridge or anything. You could probably put some glue on the ridge just to thicken it a little bit, and it would probably work pretty well. Or put some glue on this stuff. I've been assured that super glue works fine on the polyamide. I don't know about paint yet, but I will look into that to see if we can paint these things. And of course, you're going to want to stick on the whole shoulder bit as well. And when you put that on, you can see it still stays there. I mean, you can kind of force it down, but now that you've got this extra bulk here, it does kind of keep it from going down. Again, it does stay in place. It does want to stay in place. So that's pretty easy. And of course, if you already own the full armor, you do have, of course, those little side covers, which I have never used these before shooting this video. Before preparing to shoot this video, I tried them out. So, and if you have this, I mean this, if you ever put those in, basically what this thing does is that it's got the little thing in there that hooks into the C-clamp that holds in. Yeah, you should probably do this to get this stuff out of the way. Little C-clamp that just holds the legs in place in fighter mode, or in fighter and gearwalk mode. And can I do this on camera? Probably. All right, I think that's in. So with that in there, obviously this is not going to go anywhere because it's just braced against that. So I don't know why people like these things. It looks kind of ugly. It's like, yeah, I know they kind of did that in the show, but those were white, or they match the color of the robot, so yeah, that's a little ugly. I don't like it as much. Again, though, so you can see here, it's like, let's look. All right. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to break that hinge very easily. And again, the rest of this thing, other than the hinge, is identical. Installing it was very easy, even with the whole roughness of the polyamide coming out of the mold, or however they make it. It's like a powder, actually. I heard they do a lot of cool things at Shapeways, but yeah. So this totally works, and it makes me very happy. I mean, even if only I could use these things, I'm still very happy because, hey, my toy isn't broken anymore. And we're gonna still just make sure that we're gonna do some further testing to make sure that if you have two of these things, do they fit perfectly inside? Because it's a little tight even with one stock hinge and one new hinge. I want to make sure that it works, with either two new hinges, one old, one new, stuff like that. But overall, I'm pretty confident because, again, even with this clearly larger hinge there, it still fits fine and still does everything it has to do. And really breathes new life into this toy, and if you will indulge me a little bit of gushing about how awesome these toys are, I'm gonna give them a cool head. There we go. So yeah, this is an attempt to kind of help everyone enjoy their toy again, and hopefully, if this all works out, maybe we can do. Sanjeev and I can help some of the other Valkyries, so that this time everybody lives. Everybody lives. So yeah, this is probably going up on CollectionDX because nobody looks at my puny little channel. So yeah, this is been Andrew, and this is not associated with CollectionDX. This is kind of my own thing, but again, because this is the toy community, I want to help you guys out, because again, these are worth it. These are worth playing with. They are cool. I mean, look at the stuff. For the clicks, it can click. It's like, yeah, get that totally deep. Well, to do this with the wings on, you just have to pop this back, give them some space. It's like, how many Valkyries can like do the cool, like, deep, totally deep kind of lunging pose like that? I mean, that's cool. That is neat. I like that. I like that, and it's cool again because now this thing is hardier than before and can totally be transformed a lot. So, I can do that. I can do the pose normally. Whatever. I'm just stretching out this video now. Yeah, so gonna keep working on the stuff. I mean, I don't think it's gonna take that many iterations to get it perfect, considering how good it is right now. So I really hope that I can get this off the ground and that we can all go back to enjoying our toys again. Because again, I love me some Valkyries. Best toys ever.